Um, Obviously pleased with a point away from home. I think that goes without saying. It's never easy coming on the road. Disappointed with the way that we started the game. Thought there should have been a little bit more energy and drive. But saying that, I thought both teams looked very cautious, um, very passive in that first 20, 25 minutes. And to be honest, there wasn't a huge amount that went on in that first 45. The own goal brought the game to life a little bit. And then we were just as fortuitous with the penalty. And I guess in the end, probably a fair result. But again, I certainly felt as though we might have just squeezed a little bit more out of.
Yeah, Gary, you kind of mentioned, especially in the first 20 or 30 minutes when it felt like both teams were a little bit passive. I'm just curious about your thoughts on kind of the overall attacking performance and chance creation. It didn't feel like there was a ton in it from either team.
Yeah.
Is a lot of that, you think, down to some of the missing players like Hani and Sam, or do you think there's anything else going on besides that maybe sticks out to you?
No, I don't think so. I think you've hit the nail on the head, Ben. We're missing three extremely important pieces of our group in Hani, Sam and Randall, all in an attacking sense. They're all game changers in their own right. We have a glut of defenders and midfield players available, hence why a slight shift in shape. There's also a difficulty and was going into the game with Tyler, which is why I brought him out after 60 minutes and delighted that he got through that after missing the midweek. So we really stretched here in those forward positions. And I think, the role that Till played up front was an excellent one. He led the line well, didn't have an awful lot to work with. I know it's from the penalty spot, but he gets himself on the sheet, which is great news as well. But I think all in all, when you're missing guys of the calibre that we are, there's always going to be a little bit of a drop stitch, as it were.
Hey Gary, you started the match with a three at the back or five at the back, and then switched back to a four, and then against Mocha was four, and then the end against Red Bull was five. I know when we talked to you after the Red Bull game, you said that's not something really you practiced during the preseason. So have you spent this sort of period working on the three at the back or five at the back, and is that what you're planning to use on Thursday?
It's purely circumstanceful there. I've just said to Ben, a lot of defenders, away from home, a lot of midfield players, hardly any attackers. So it makes an awful lot of sense that, we were going to try and be a little bit more difficult to break down. Few changes that can be made to the group in an attacking sense. And, for the most part, away from home, I thought it was a fairly sound job. The questions that can be raised are around, some individual quality, some creativity, which I think I've explained to Ben, and I'm sure everyone understands. When you're missing Hani, Sam and Randall in the group, there's an awful lot that's missing. So I think the guys did a terrific job in the end to get something out of this. As far as moving forward, I'll look at the group. I'll see what players are available towards Thursday. We have had a very, very difficult time of this from the very outset. And he left the field after 30 minutes of the first Mocha game. Sam not long after. We've not seen either of them since. So therefore, the group's battling away, knowing that these two very valuable players, especially in an attacking sense, are needed back in the group as quickly as possible.
I'm just curious, with the three players that you mentioned already missing, they're probably your top three penalty takers. So with Teal, is that a decision that you made? Is that something that you've discussed before, or did it just happen on the pitch?
Well, strangely enough, as the penalty looked like it was going to be given, we were having a bit of a discussion on the line, and the agreement was that Teal was the best penalty taker on the field. And as I was just about to give that message out to the group, Daniel Lovitz had said that Teal was very much keen on taking it anyway. So that came together very well, and of course, he dispatched it nicely.
Yeah. Gary, with Hani, Sam, with them having only played 35 and 50 minutes respectively this season against Mocha, I guess, when you look at them or at least Hani, potentially being available for Thursdays, where do you see them if they're able to play, do you see them, how close do you see them being to full strength, just with having, so little playing time playing actual competitive playing time so far under their belts this year?
Yeah, I think if I'm right in saying Hanny played 90 minutes in the last friendly, very different level of intensity, of course, to what we're going to see on Thursday, I'm sure. But I don't think Hanny ever has any problems as long as he's fully fit. There won't be any issues there athletically. I think the same can be said for Sam. He's not been out long enough. He's had a fantastic pre-season, was in very, very good shape. So those two guys at the moment are going to be the ones that are going to be closest to the game on Thursday. I don't think Randall will get anywhere near that.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, I know defensively, that's always kind of been a core part of the team. Didn't concede against Red Bull. And then the goal today was kind of, I mean, a little bit of a fluke, not one that probably gets repeated. Are you encouraged with the way that your team has defended so far in the first handful of games?
I think all of the guys have shown a real discipline and determination, Ben, given some of the circumstances that we're encountering. Players out, lots of travel, games coming thick and fast. Not easy for the team, a very new challenge, and I've said that before. I think the guys are going about their business very, very well. I'd love to have seen a little bit more composure in the early stages of the game, but I'm being really picky now. A point away from home in this run of games is very decent for
them. It's wasn't our best game. It's good that we came away with a point, but I think we're capable of being much better. I know it's difficult for us because we've had two injuries of two of our guys that are very important for us, but we just have to adapt and keep pushing and show what we're capable of.
Yeah, Tyler, obviously, Gary talked a little bit about some of maybe the issues in the first 25, 30 minutes, just both teams, he said, were kind of passive. How did you feel like on the pitch things played out, especially in the attacking end, with chances seeming pretty tough to come by for both sides?
Yeah, it's I think you summarized it pretty well. Chances were tough to come by, and as an attacking player, that's what you thrive on, is getting in the right spots and getting chances and building your confidence from there. I think it was a slow start to the game. Obviously, not easy to play in altitude, but I don't think that's an excuse. I think we have to be better, and we have to start the game on the front foot.
Hey, Tyler, there's a certain way that Nashville SC plays that kind of been more defensive maybe. As an attacking player coming into this team, has it been a little bit harder to adapt when maybe the team's focus isn't always attack, or keep the ball?
Oh, I think in preseason we showed that we can score goals. I think myself, Hanny, and Sam were gelling pretty well together, and we had a lot of preseason minutes together. So obviously having them out is a big loss for us. But we have quality in the team, and we have other personnel that slide in, and it's just a matter of building that chemistry with everyone.
Yeah, Tyler, with Hani being out, the last few games, you've kind of slotted into his more, central attacking midfield playmaking role. I guess how was playing that spot, kind of maybe pulling a few more strings from that position, grown? How have you grown into that role, and I guess how has that impacted your game?
Yeah, I've played there previously, so it's not totally new for me. Last year, I predominantly played on the wings. But this preseason, I had a couple of games where I slotted into the 10. So it's not really anything new. I'm used to it, and I know my role. So, yeah. You have a great day.